It's a new era in the Mile High City, but perhaps a debut to forget for rookie Bo Nix. Having 2 picks in this outing, but he did have a rushing touchdown, and the Broncos eventually 26-20 lost to the Seattle Seahawks. But hey, it's just his first outing. He's just a rookie. Here's more on Bo Nix from his first game in the NFL.
I'm just curious how you think, you played overall, and obviously frustrating day as a whole for the offense.
Yeah, it was a challenge for sure, to say the least. I thought they were a really good defense. I thought they played well in their scheme. I thought they, rallied to the football. It was tough to get some explosive plays, and I think when you have a hard time getting explosives, and you got to sustain drives, they can get you in third and long and third and just tough situations. So overall, I think, as poorly as we did, I think we gave ourselves a chance to win. There at the end, our special teams and defense played incredible. They really kept us in the game and gave us hope. They battled. But I think, overall, you like the compete of our team. You like the look of, we never quit. We battled. It could have got out of hand, but it didn't, and we were, a possession away from having a chance, essentially. So, obviously not the original results you want, but I feel like, we're going to have a confident group, and we're going to bounce back from it and continue to compete.
What we saw from you is that you weren't as accurate today. Balls were behind guys like we're so used to seeing. Was that a reflection of their pressure or something they were doing first game for you?
Well, we got to go back and look at the film. Obviously, if balls are on the ground, you got to evaluate, how you can change it. But sometimes that's part of the game. They play defense too. They try to get to the ball, and obviously we didn't hit them all. So that's what we're going to continue to try to do, is go out there and hit them all.
Well, everybody talks about the 12s and the crowd noise. How was the atmosphere? How did you find that?
I thought we handled it really well. I think there was one down in the red zone that was, the start of a drive after a turnover that, was unfortunate. Stuff like that can't happen. But we bounced back, got a field goal, and didn't let it bother us the rest of the game.
The first half, when you had the ball at the 20 to start and ball at the 9, only came away with field goals. Feel like that's where maybe the game got away from you, or why you ended up on the short end?
No, we were winning going into halftime, and we had a chance there at the end.
What were your emotions of the day?
It was a challenge. It was a tough day. It was they didn't make it easy on us, that's for sure. But like I said, we competed. We went down and scored there at the end, and gave ourselves a chance to win. And we were, an inch away on a, almost batted ball that Riley Moss made an incredible play on that they just, made a better play. So it's tough. You got to give them credit, but we battled and we continued to fight, and that's, those are the emotions of today. That we got a competitive team. We got a team that's not going to quit, and we're going to put everything on the line. And no matter if it's, ugly start, we're going to continue to find ways to finish.
I guess, you personally, you said earlier in the week you only did your first start once. How were you through the morning?
Yeah, well, you only get it once, and game went back and forth. And so, overall, got to continue to find ways to be efficient and get first downs and not stay in first, second, third down off the field. Kept getting 3 and out. So, things to learn from for sure, but they're not all perfect.
Were you nervous?
No, I felt confident going in the game. I thought we, continued to battle.
Both on the field, how different was this from the preseason games? Was the speed much different, or was it about what you expected?
It was different. They, they got after us, a lot of the game. We were able to move the ball there at the end. But, yeah, I thought they had good team speed. They rallied to the football. They made open field tackles, and that's usually the sign of a good defense. And so hats off to them.
In the first half, from you had the 3rd and 9 from the 21, I think, threw it to Cortland. Safety came over and got it. Explain what happened there.
Yeah, I felt like, a bad decision. We had points. But, they got the ball at the 1. We got a safety, after that, so our defense bailed us out.
Last one for Bo. Bo, what's your process here when you watch film in terms of figuring out what things you can correct immediately versus what are longer-term things you're going to have to work on this year?
Well, I think that's a loaded question. We got to watch the film, see what it says, find the areas to improve on. I don't think we were far off, but there's always going to be, even if we had won that game, you're going to go in there and correct it the same way. So find ways to run plays as efficient as possible and stay out of third and longs, and overall find ways to get a win in these tough games.
That's what it's about, finding ways to win some of these tough games. I know someone that knows a thing or two about finding ways to win tough games. Take a look at rough first outings and a Broncos debut. Well, Bo Nix certainly didn't have his best outing, but you know who else did? John Elway went 1 of 8 for 14 yards, no touchdowns, had a pick back in 1983 against Pittsburgh. Listen, I'm making no comparison whatsoever, but if there's anything for Bo to hang his hat on, it's the fact that a Hall of Famer didn't have a great outing either.